Sometime around 2006, this is what was going on inside my head. I hope this client says no. I can't handle any more work. I'm already working days, nights, weekends. I can't handle another project. I don't care what they pay me. This was the sad state of affairs I was in. I was so busy, I didn't want any more projects. I was even hoping that prospective clients I had already agreed to meet with would just cancel on me. I was thinking, how glorious it would it be to have an extra 90 minutes today to get stuff done and get caught up. You see, this was my fault. I brought all of this on myself. I had sold project after project, and you'd think I'd be stoked. The reality was that each project that I sold took so many hours of my time. I was trapped by trading my time, of which I had very little, for money that never really seemed like it was enough. I was overbooked. The solution to a problem like this is pretty simple, but it's super uncomfortable to do unless you've reached a breaking point like I had. I decided I had to fundamentally change how I offered services by modeling what I saw other successful companies do in other industries. I re-engineered my business to operate under what I now call the leveraged service model. Fancy name, right? Yeah, we spent a good while thinking on that one. But it's the perfect name because what I wanted was leverage. I wanted to be able to provide my clients with a ton of value without it taking as much of my own personal time. Selling and building websites the way I'd been doing it was the opposite of this. I was providing value, but the number of hours each project took was massive. Even with things like doing SEO or Facebook ads, I was still making a little better money on this because that stuff at least was recurring monthly, but it still demanded a lot of my time. So here's what I did. Number one, I simplified my offerings. Why was I agreeing to build websites for, say, $3,500 when I could charge the same thing for reputation management and have it take a fraction of the time? 40 hours on a website versus a few hours a year for helping a business with their reviews. This was pretty eye-opening to me, so much so that it made me wonder, well, how could I create that same kind of leverage in other areas of my business? Number two, I found partners or software to do the repetitive work. What I figured out was that if I was able to simplify what I was offering, that I could more easily delegate things. So that's exactly what I did. I pared down my services to what I called the minimum effective dose. And I negotiated really good rates with third-party vendors to actually do the work. For example, I found a partner that could do all of my on-site SEO work for a flat rate per page. I found another that was willing to come up with Facebook and pay-per-click ad creative and charge a low rate per ad. I found partners to fulfill all of the ingredients that made up all of my services. Number three, I refocused my time on project management and sales. No longer being responsible for a lot of the work, I was able to refocus my energy on being the main point of contact for the client and also bringing in new business. I managed the process of others that were doing 80+% of the actual hands-on work. And you know what? I realized that most of the work that I was delegating was very administrative. It was very routine. There wasn't a lot of strategy in it. I didn't realize how much of my valuable time was being spent on tasks that I could so affordably and reliably have done by somebody else. Number four, ultimately, I handed off project management. In time, I was able to bring in some extra help to replace me as the project manager. Now, it was mind-blowing to me that once I had a business that I thought would never run without me, and now it looked like it was starting to happen. This was made possible because I had very specific recipes, ways of doing my projects, and I began to realize that even the management of client projects was just a set of administrative tasks. And there was very little magic dust that required my personal brain on it. Number five, I handed off sales. Finally, I was able to hand off sales. I had both of my feet out of production and out of delivery. I could begin focusing my attention on other areas of the business that were interesting to me. This didn't happen overnight, but it started by being incredibly frustrated. It started because I wanted clients to tell me no. And I'm so glad they didn't, because it was the mounting pressure of new clients that forced me to take a long look at my business and ask, is this the best way to run a business? The answer to that was a resounding no. This new model was the right way to do it. Now, I've talked about the leverage service model, and if you'd like to learn more about that around this video, you'll see the opportunity to see more training on that, or check for the link in the description.